All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Hustle in the Huddle. And this week we're going to be talking about your network and how your network is your net worth. So, just kind of kicking it off, Amber, when you really think about like networking, your network, like what does that kind of feel like for you? And like, what are you doing to really tap into that as of recent?
Yeah, so I know we hear that network is your net worth a lot, but what does that really mean? You go to events like NABJ, that was just this past weekend, the convention, or Black Sports Business Symposium, and you really go to network. That's one of your main things. Sometimes you might not get the job, but another main thing to do is network, because that network sets up your future, right? So at things like NABJ, it's a big career fair, and they held panels that teach you how to navigate in your sports, kind of like what we do in this podcast. It teaches you different things such as balancing your work life, or how to navigate in the sports industry as a woman. It teaches you AI, how to use it in your career. So it teaches you different things, and it also is, like I said, a big career convention, and there's companies there, anybody that you can think of in the sports industry, from ESPN to Bleacher Report to Fox Sports to NFL to MLB, all the leagues, they're looking for people of color to hire. And you're networking, right? A lot of them, they don't hire on spot. They're giving out their emails, or they're just sitting there having an interview, getting to know you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very rare that people walk out with a job same day, but a lot of people do, walk out with a job maybe months later, because they made an impression on the hiring managers, or it might not be hiring managers there, but it's people that work there who will send your name to those hiring managers. So that's networking, and that's turning your network into your net worth, because, like I said, it's your future. You're networking for your future job. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously your future job is, putting money in your pocket, and it's also, your career job. So that's your network. So just going, really, a lot of people don't know how being a part of those associations are very important, but it's just a big network. NABJ is a bit network. You don't have to just be a writer to be an NABJ. You can be anything under the journalism umbrella, from sports marketing to a broadcast to an
Photography.
NFL
Yeah.
agent. Like, yeah, anything under the journalism umbrella, you can be a part of NABJ. There's more associations than just NABJ. Like I said, there's Black Sports Business Symposium. There's
They changed the name actually.
what did I change to?
Girl, now that's where they just had it updated in Howard this past week. This past week they did it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Mhm.
I think it's something like the Sports Playbook or something like that. They changed the
Okay.
name. Well, it's still
Yeah.
like you can still Google Black Sports Business Symposium, but like I think when they do that like session and stuff, it's now called like the Sports Playbook,
Okay.
and just
Yeah, so I think it would be smart to, like, you can do something as far as like Googling sports associations, or checking with your school, even if you're
yeah,
alumni, check your alumni association. Your alumni association as well is a network. Like, you can turn anything into a network. So social media is a
yeah.
network. Following people who are in the same career path as you, and seeing how they're navigating through their careers, and then reaching out to them as well. So yeah, just making sure that you're turning your network into your net worth.
I say when I say for me, when I think of networking, I think of just talking, honestly and true. Like that's what it comes down to. I know we joke and say like you don't like to talk that much, or when it comes to your mouthpiece, you're selective on how you choose to like engage with people. When I think of networking, like you can unintentionally be networking at any point just based on conversations that you're having at the time. Because once you start talking, you're automatically like entering into your elevator pitch. That's a big thing that everybody teaches you when you start to network is your elevator pitch. You have like what less than 15 seconds to a minute to make an impression on somebody and like basically tell them who you are, what you do, where you're trying to go, and just give them an introduction. And I think if you first and foremost, you can't network if you're afraid to talk. If you're afraid to put yourself out there, speak to people, engage, have a conversation, you're not going to get far. Because although yes, sometimes people will gravitate to you just based on how you are, your personality and things like that, you still have to introduce yourself, you still have to speak, you still have to put yourself out there, like the same way you're just saying like social media is a network. I'll be the first to admit I'm not the biggest fan of doing social media. I know like how to do social media, what works for social media, and like how to make that happen, but like I'm not the biggest person. Like I don't like to post too much, but you can really network with people of just putting putting it out there like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I got going on. Like the whole point of this podcast, like we want to network with y'all and build those connections because you just like never know who you know that know like or who you don't know that knows you through somebody else. Like it's just all kind of interwoven. So like anytime you come across somebody like how Amber's part of NABJ, somebody might know of Amber that knows the person who actually knows Amber, and then they can get connected somehow and find a way to each other. So when I think about like your networking to get to your net worth is your net worth, you have to be out there. You have to be open to speaking to people. You can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to talk. What if they don't want to? No. The worst somebody can tell you is no when you're networking. So I think how I just see it is being able to talk in a way that presents yourself forward for the next person. If you can't do that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And
Right.
with
And those
that,
people are, oh, go ahead, my bad.
no, I'm just saying, just with that, it's just trial and error.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What were
Yeah,
you
'cause
saying?
it took me a while, like I said, because I wasn't a talker. Like, so
Yeah.
it took me really from being around my peers and my friends who are in the industry and seeing
Mhm.
how they do it. And that's it. It really just kind of rubbed off on me. So that's how I started really just networking because I watch what they do and it work. You know what I mean? So you can't be scared. You know how they say scared money don't make no money.
Yeah. Closed
Scared
mouth don't get fed type of thing.
scared networking ain't gonna get you no network. Ain't gonna get you no network. I'm working on it, but you know what I mean. But I'm gonna put it in the description about NABJ.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people didn't know about NABJ, and if they're interested, they don't know how to join. So I'm gonna put that
Mhm.
information in the description. So make sure y'all click on that and tap into NABJ.
I
And
said another
NABJ
one.
is National Association of Black Journalists. I didn't
I
mention
also
that.
forgot Wise, women in sports.
Exactly. Wise too. Yep.
Wise is another one. It's this conference I'm thinking about attending in September. Like it's a lot of stuff. Like
It's a lot.
even going to like WNBA when they have their All Star weekends and like there's
Yep.
different sessions and stuff
Yeah,
that
there's different
happen.
activations for women. Yeah, definitely tap
Mhm.
into WNBA conference and
Panels.
stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Like you just there's another one too. Like I know Super Bowl has the women in sports brunch, power brunch and stuff that
yep,
they do.
yep.
And you can buy a ticket to sit in the room with some really influential women in there, which
Yeah,
is really great.
they have the networking mixer before the brunch starts. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So
that's kind of
that's
stuff
it.
we can put in the chat. Not chat, but put in the description different stuff that you guys can look into for networking. So I
Mm-hmm.
know that's maybe what a lot of you guys are watching for. Like,
Yeah.
okay, forget all the fluff. Like,
Yeah.
what
What's
give
going
us the
on?
tea. Give us the like where do we need to go to network?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna drop that in for sure. Like, what are some tips that you would give that got you to the table, or that like would help other people get to the table?
I just think when I think for me, I want to say I was very much authentically myself. Like I don't switch up how I come across for one set person. Now, granted, may I'm not gonna say I code switch, but I do. Depending on who it is, I might choose a different word than I would typically use with one other person. So I wouldn't say I code switch, but I'm just mindful like how I talk to people. So like I come up as authentically myself because that gets me further than trying to like put on and be like, oh, I do this because I think like my biggest thing right now is I be feeling like sometimes I have what's it called? We talk about this all the time. Imposter syndrome. Imposter
Um,
syndrome. I be feeling like I have imposter syndrome sometimes because like I think it's that double sided thing of like, yes, you've been doing the work, you're doing it, but like at the same time, like still surprised that you're here. It's like it's kind of surreal. Like, yeah, I'm here, but like, should I be here though? Have I really done enough? And like,
oh my
you,
God.
it's that's a whole different episode. But like
That's definitely an episode imposter syndrome. I dealt with that a lot.
yeah, it's like a whole different thing. But like, I think trying to be mindful, like how you show up. Because the funny thing is, before I tell people work out sports, I have a whole other like I can talk about everything else. I might tell you I'm from Georgia. I'll tell you about I have a big family. I'll tell you like I'm a fan of this. I'll tell you about Catherine. Like I can tell you so many different things about me before it even comes up that I work in sports. I can tell you where I went to school. So I think like one thing I've always heard or somebody told me back when I was in college is how you identify yourself makes a difference for how people also identify you. So
Yeah,
he was telling me from the perspective of like just somebody like if you're known for an organization, like don't be introduced as Amber from Fanatics. You don't want to be introduced as that. You want to be introduced like Amber or yeah, Amber from Fanatics. Like, I think I said the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is okay. Okay, it's for Amber, the Fanatics worker, or the Fanatics worker Amber. That's what I meant. Like the
Okay,
Fanatics employee Amber, girl. I was trying to think too, but that's the point. That's the point. You don't want to be like the Fanatics employee Amber. You want to be Amber who works for Fanatics. Like
yeah,
that's the difference. You don't want to become known for where you are, like associate, or what you have association to. You always want to be known for yourself, because once you leave whatever association or whatever place to go on to the next thing, you're still going to be you. But you don't want that title to kind of carry. So I say, like, one of my biggest tips: being authentically yourself, and also just being mindful of the rooms that you're in. Being mindful of the rooms. Like, if you have an opportunity to go talk to that person, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot, because the worst somebody can tell you is no. Even if a conversation they don't, if you're trying to network, yes, the biggest thing is try to walk away with a contact or some form of communication or scheduling some follow up. But even if you don't, you just never know. Yeah, they didn't remember me this time, but if I get a chance to meet them again, I have a better than likely moment of like, oh, I remember you from this event. Like, you have a touch point. So try to be memorable, or at least create some touch. Get them to follow you on social media, anything to still keep that connection open. You just never know. LinkedIn, whatever. That's my.
yeah. Definitely be authentic. That's really the number one.
Mm-hmm,
But also, like, read the room when you're
mm-hmm,
in networking situations. You know, yeah, it's networking is fine, but it has to be a place that's okay to network. Like,
mm-hmm.
you can't be like out at a party, and it's a lot of celebrities there and you're trying to network. They ain't trying to, hear what you
Yeah.
gotta say. They trying to party, they trying to have fun. Like, you can, so like you said, you code switch. So it's good to code switch and kind of turn it into a networking
Mm-hmm,
type of conversation. But you just gotta know how to talk to people. And also, like, if you know the type of people that are going to be there, if you know what athletes are going to be there, if you did research on the event, do your
mm-hmm.
research on each person too.
Yeah.
Know what type of person they are, know what they like. That surprises them. Like, you walk up to a celebrity, like, dang, you know me more than just the team that I play for.
Right.
So research the player, kind of put your own spin on the conversation. That's how you're authentically being yourself. Yeah, I think that's great advice.
Don't let nobody, though, like, even if it's somebody that you really look up to, don't know. You can be humble, by all means, be humble, but don't let nobody little boy you or little girl you either into thinking like you not the person that you're becoming or the person you are. You need to walk in like you are, not like you already made it, but you know that you'll get there. Don't
Yep.
let somebody try to diminish your light and
Yep.
kind of shut you down. If they didn't want to talk to you, it wasn't meant for you to network with them. On to the next.
Yep. Gotta own the room.
On the room.
But that gets to the next point. It kind of ties into it with making a genuine impression in high pressure spaces. Like, for instance, at WNBA All Star Weekend, like, how do you make a genuine impression in front of all these people that are athletes, and
Yeah.
they're at these events to have a good time. They
Mm-hmm.
don't really want to talk to the fans. They don't really feel like networking. How do you make an impression without making it look like that you're
Yeah.
trying to network, right? Or that you're trying to get something out of this situation. And
I,
it really just all goes back to just being authentic.
yeah.
Like, having a genuine conversation and knowing the rooms that you're walking into, knowing these people. Like, you can't go to a WNBA event and don't know nobody. You don't
Right.
know any of the players. You don't know anything about the teams. Like, you're
Right.
just there just because it's a WNBA event
And
and
you
you're
just
trying
somehow
to get
got in.
on. Yeah, like, no, like, you gotta actually be interested in it. Like, you can't just be there just thinking somebody's gonna put you on. No, you need to be interested in order to network, and you need to be educated about the event
Mm-hmm.
that you're at and what they're preaching at this event. People can
Yeah.
sense the
You
phony.
just there to be there. You there to get
Yeah,
free stuff. I say, like, what you said about like knowing the people, like stick to the WNBA thing. Like, when you interview City Coast at the Dallas Wings game, and you asked her, like, you talked about like her being the face of the league, which is like, the thing that her and QP had, which is like really, like, face of the league, and also praying for great recovery for Sydney with the ACL tear. But also too, but just talking about like her new podcast. I think she's also getting like stand up comedy, like just being aware of what people have going on outside
exactly.
of,
That's very true.
though, what they're known for is also a great thing too. Like you said, that just kind of helps to show like, hey, I value you as a person. I really like what you do. I can speak to this. You can relate to people in different things. Like I said, I can run across somebody and be like, hey, I think aren't you from the area I'm from? We may not know each other, but once you have that connection, it's like, well, you know about this, oh, you know about this. Like, you have those like things where you can just kind of find, and it's not like you're being strategic and like, oh, I'm going to walk up to them and talk to them about this when I'm in these spaces. But it's like, once again, if you are just a regular, cool, good person and you're good with just having those conversations, you'll be fine. You don't ever have to fake the funk to be nowhere that's not meant for you.
Exactly.
Like,
Because that gets
we've
it.
been, we've been in some places where like we don't even know how we end up here, but hey, we here,
So what strategies like would you use then to make it your own? To put yourself in your own lane because everybody's creating their own lane in sports. Some people are following people, which is totally okay, but
Yeah.
make it your own. Like what strategies would you use if you following somebody? How would you make it your own?
I don't even say I would have like strategy. I guess I would just be, I don't know how to put it. I guess I'd just be appreciative or have admiration for how they do it and then just tweak it to fit me. Because I think, like we said, if you can't be nobody else, you're gonna be yourself. You can't be nobody else but yourself. So I feel like just because it worked for that person doesn't mean it's gonna work for me. But what can I take from their journey to make it my own, or from their experiences make it my own? I think like the same thing we hope people do with this podcast. Like what, like my if I said my strategy for this podcast was to find a good friend to make great connection with and talk about some stuff we've been through in the industry, and we want to grow in our social media following. We want to really expand and get business opportunities, stuff like that. Like there were strategies that we saw other people do that we like, okay, I like how they did that. I don't like how they did that. I wonder how can we tweak it for that. I like my strategy is always like reevaluating and re-evolving it to fit my needs or what I need to do. And also like self-reflection and improvement is always a big thing of just you're never too big to look back and figure out how you can do better. Because just because it worked that first time doesn't mean it may work again. And everybody doesn't, like I said, everybody doesn't have the same thing. Like one thing that you did with the one person may not be the same strategy you need with the next person.
You
Because
can't approach
personality,
everybody the same.
you
Yeah.
can't. Because personality is like I told you, sometimes you could go talk to somebody and you had like a great impression, and then me on the other hand is like I didn't get that vibe, and it's like
Yeah.
maybe it's just like I'm not that person for them. Our personalities just don't mesh, or maybe my approach wasn't the same approach that they're used to, so like it just caught them off guard and put a wall up. So just going back and reevaluating too, and just seeing how other people interact. Just knowing there's a time to know when to speak up, and there's a time to know when to shut up. If
Yeah, and a strategy that you may use at the NBA All Star, you can't use that same strategy at the WNBA All Star. It's two
mm-hmm,
completely different leagues.
mm-hmm,
They're both basketball, but they're two completely different leagues. As much as they want to try to make it the same, it's two completely different leagues. So, like some people just go to events and they wing it, and
mm-hmm.
it works for some people, but it don't work for everybody. Like just because
We,
one person said they winged it, doesn't mean okay, I can go and wing it. It's gonna work for me. Like no, so always have a plan B, and you creating a strategy could be your plan B.
yeah.
So make a plan, study it, and and that could be a strategy.
I would say too, when you think about strategy though, and like everything you just said, like research, making a plan, study a plan, where do you fit into that though? Like protecting your peace, or protecting like your own personal self, and like not getting caught up and like conforming to everybody. I think that's the big thing too, of just like corporate America. We all know they've said like, oh, you gotta adapt to corporate America. You're not bigger than the program, but like, how do you kind of keep the authentic self to yourself when there's a game that you got to play. There's a thin line you got to walk up. I have to do certain things to get to certain places or meet certain people, but I still need to protect who I am because I don't want to lose sight of me and like look back and like, dang, what happened? This isn't who you were when you started out. Like, what happened there? So, what are you doing to like help protect your personal self or your personal peace, where you don't get too far caught up in like the game or what's going on, or trying to be in these rooms that may not always be welcoming to you or for you?
I don't know. That's a good question because I feel like I'm still working on protecting my peace in a different aspect, like with the people I surround myself with while I'm navigating through my career. Brittany, she always I know she always preaches about protecting her peace, and I made this questions like specifically for her because she always preach about protecting her peace, like when she's going to these events and making sure you're taking the right people, make sure you're working with the right people because some people use you. Like they know, you're plugged in and they want to use you for your events and your space and they not bringing the right energy. So it's really just about checking people energy at the door and making sure, we on one accord and we want the same things, but that's in a different aspect. But when it comes to companies that you work for, you definitely, don't want to sell your soul to get to where you want to be. Or if you're trying to get to a certain career and this company wants you to do something outside of your morals, like it's never going to end well. You might get the job, but it's not going to end well. Like
Okay, talk about it.
I'm not selling my soul for nothing. I'm not selling my
Mhm,
soul for a career, because if it's meant for me to have it, it's meant for me to have it. You shouldn't have to sell nothing of yourself,
mhm. Just
physically or
for the charm.
mentally, to get a career. And if anybody is asking you to do that, then politely, no, thank you. I'm
Go
gonna
elsewhere.
take my talents elsewhere.
Yeah, but also when you're networking, don't let this networking drain you either. Like, don't become the shell of a person that you were trying to get to where you want to be. That's another thing because I feel like networking is a lot. It's a whole segment. It's a whole other job on its own. It takes work to network.
Right.
It's in there. It's the part of the name, network. Like you're working, you're talking. That's a lot because let me tell you, my social battery is 30% on it. Like I'm a sociable person, but once I get to a point of like I'm clocked out, I no longer want to talk, it drains you. So just to be like, don't let it take, like Amber said, don't sell yourself for anything because if you feel the need to feel like you're pressured to do anything or pressure to have to act like this or do this or go to
Mhm.
these places,
Not
it's
me.
you don't need to be there. I'm quick to tell somebody no. You want to come here? Let me look at the vibe. Let me fill it out. Oh, who's going? This, that's not a place I need to be in because I would hate to look back on my life and be like, oh man, you remember? Like I don't want to look back with regrets. Granted, everybody got the moments where they think back on something like it make you cringe. You're like, oh, why did I do that? But the age I'm at now, I'm trying to really cut back on things I regret in life, and I'm not trying to have those moments like pop up where it's like, dang, I did that to get here, but look at me, I'm still either in the same place or I went backwards, like it didn't benefit me the way I thought it was or thought it should. So
Yeah.
moving like forward, thinking like paying attention to those things really makes the difference.
Yeah. With social media as one of the main networking pieces now, like with LinkedIn
Yeah.
specifically, and then even
Mhm. Instagram,
Facebook and
Facebook too.
Instagram, and even TikTok, really
Mhm.
every platform, but specifically LinkedIn, like how you leverage, using social media,
I need to do
as a
better at
as a
LinkedIn.
professional relationship. And
Mhm.
I get so many messages on LinkedIn, and I always try to respond. And I do that specifically because when I was trying to get my career, it was hard to get responses from people. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people get their career and they forget about, the little people, the people
Mhm.
who's trying to follow their footsteps. So I always make it my duty to take, time at least one day out of the week to respond to people who's trying to follow in my footsteps, or who's trying to take a different route in the sports industry, and give the advice where I can, or give them the links, or send the materials that I have, to get to where I am.
Mhm.
And it worked for a lot of people. So definitely, that's my advice for somebody who's already in their career. Make sure you still, don't forget about the little people. Still reach out to those people who's trying to do what you're doing, because you never know, they could get a job and get something bigger than where you're at, and you're
Right.
trying to get to that point, and then you're gonna need them.
Right.
So don't always still reach out to people. I mean, respond back to people, and then to the people who are, considered the little people, and they're
Mhm.
trying to get that big job. Don't stop reaching out. Like we've mentioned that before. Like, don't stop reaching out. Don't get
Yep.
discouraged if a person didn't respond. Follow up. And if you've reached out maybe about 2 or 3 times and you never heard from that person, go to the next person that works at that company. So
Yeah.
like, never stop networking. Like, social media is probably is a bigger networking space than in person now, because social media is so big. So definitely take the time to, if you can't make it to an event, take the time to network on social media.
I think it goes hand in hand. To your point, though, I will take your advice. I'm sorry, everybody that has messaged me on LinkedIn or like asked me. I, I, I am on LinkedIn, but not like that. And most of the time, it's like pop up like notification, like so and so posted this, so it gets like muffled down on top of like everything else that you get coming through on your phone. So I will take Amber's advice myself and start setting an hour aside a day or whatever to go and follow up to these messages and connect. I will say I may not follow up some messages, but I add people back for connections. I will do that. I at least do that. We can connect. I may not always follow up on the message. I'm trying.
Networking works. So
Network works.
yeah,
It
that's
works.
good. Networking work.
Networking works, baby. It works. Networking works. But think of it like when they say, when Jesus, he may not come when you want him, but he's there when you need him. He's always like, on time. Don't forget that, okay? He's always on time. Same thing with networking. Networking works,
What do
but
you
it
do?
may not come when you want it,
Who this?
but it's gonna come when you need it.
Who this?
Oh, come on. Okay, sure.
Period. Cause baby, he on time for sure. You hear me?
No, shop
I
for
don't know
sure.
that.
But yeah, no, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Networking, it works. It works. It
Yeah.
just may not. Don't
I didn't
don't.
believe it when like I don't know. A lot of people is like me because I didn't believe it, but I was also a person who didn't have a mouthpiece. That's why I didn't believe it. So
Hmm. I have a
um,
mouthpiece, but sometimes you have that mouthpiece with that
you
mouthpiece because
gotta have
you may have
patience. It's
talked
not
to
gonna work
everybody.
the first time. Like
It,
you
you
gotta
know,
keep doing it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So networking works. It just give it some time. You gotta let that sit and marinate sometimes, unless
Yeah.
it's like just instant. But what were you gonna say? What are you talking about?
The importance of paying it forward.
Ooh.
Don't get to these positions and
Mm,
don't pay it forward. Of course, celebrating people who need to be celebrated, but also helping out the people who want to get to, their next level in their career who need help because we all need help. Like I said, it's important because that person that you didn't help might get that position that's higher up than where you at, and you might need them. So, you know,
oh, the petty in me. If I reached out to somebody and it was like I was really nice and you told me you was gonna help me, you didn't. Oh, baby, don't let me surpass you. Because
bro,
when I tell
that
you,
happened to
look
me.
when I tell you I'm gonna do that slow turn around in the chair, talking about some, well, look who
Do
it
the
is.
what you do? What's
Looky
the slow
here.
turnaround?
Oh, girl, this chair is squeaky. I didn't want to. It's gonna be like this. Okay, ready?
That was a fast turnaround.
Well. I know that ain't who I think it is.
Oh, that's who I think it is. The message in DM and me because I got that
Oh,
director role. Nah, but I
hello.
ain't gonna name them names. But when I was ever coming my career, a very known broadcaster. Um, because I tried to join. If I name her program, y'all would know who it is. But I ain't gonna name a program. I tried to join her program, and I made it all the way up to the final round.
Mhm.
And they was like, "Oh, how old are you?" I was 28 at the time. She was like, "Oh, the cutoff is 27. You're too old." Ah,
That's a
y'all
year.
age discriminate? So I specifically didn't make it because it was only for 21 to 27-year-olds. Okay.
1 year.
So, baby, I kept that motivation in my big pocket and they fired me. So I
Mhm.
met her and I loved her like I think you mentioned it before. Like
Mhm.
you meet these famous people that you love, and like when you
They
meet
say
them,
never.
it's
They say never meet your heroes.
bro. I swear to God, because now I don't like her. So I met her and I talked to her. I was like, yeah, I tried to join your program and I made it all the way to the final stage, but I didn't make it because the lady that was in the interview said that I didn't make the cutoff age. I was 28. I was only a year older. And at that point, when I finally met her, I was like 31.
Mhm.
And so she was like, oh my gosh, I was your age when I made it. She was like, I would never want to turn away somebody because of their age. Take my phone number and we'll
Mhm.
talk. And she was like, she was like, it's funny because I was gonna do something for older women. She was like, so take my number and I want you to be a part of it. And it just made me feel so good. I took a picture with her, posted on social media, told my friends, boy, was I fooled. So I reached out to her. Mind you, this was when I was still doing I had just graduated from UNT, and this
Mhm.
was before I went to TCU. I reached out to her and she was like, she did text me back. She was like, oh my God, I thought you stayed in LA. Because I was like, it's nothing to catch a flight to LA. LA is cheap to fly to. It might be expensive to get to be there, but it's cheap to fly to. I said, it's not gonna book a flight. She was
Mhm.
like, no, let's just do a Zoom. I'm like, lady, I can fly, I can come to LA, especially if it's gonna be life changing. But she was
I'm gonna
like,
make
let's
that
just do
happen.
a Zoom. She was like, I'm gonna have my assistant email you. We're gonna do a Zoom. I was like, okay. So maybe I should have kept pressuring it. So that's another networking moment. Maybe I should have kept pressuring it. But I said it twice. So I felt like I said it enough to let her know I would have came out there. But I was like,
Mhm.
okay. So then I never heard from her assistant. So I followed up and I
Mhm.
was like, hey, I never heard from your assistant. I'm available, on these days. And she was like, oh yeah. Like she was like, let me reach out to her, make sure she's set up. Still didn't hear from her. So I reached out to her again. I sent her a long message. I was like, look, I know you're transitioning over to CNN with this other broadcaster that I love. I was like, so I don't want to, I know you're busy. I don't want to,
Be a bother.
yeah, be a bother. And she didn't hit me back. She was like, yeah, it is kind of busy right now. We're transitioning over. She was like, but I'll be sure to reach out, so we can set up, this Zoom call because I really want to have the conversation with you. So I said, okay. I gave it a month.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out again. No response. Hated her ever since.
Mm-hmm. That's how me though. Unfortunately, no shade to that person. Hope they do well. But it is kind of like disheartening too when you're like a young, impressionable,
Yes.
like not even young. Shoot, at any point in your career, if you feel like you needed to connect and you did your due diligence of networking somebody and it doesn't play out, especially like when they give you that false sense of hope, boy, you be over it. Like you like, oh, count your days. Like I don't even want to see you no more. Like
Yes.
it's just like a bad taste in your mouth.
And
So
it's
like
so discouraging too.
it
Like
is.
I was telling people, oh, networking doesn't work. And
Mm-hmm.
these people will tell you one thing, they act like they're gonna help you, and they don't. Like I had a whole negative aspect outlook on this. Like,
Mm-hmm. Based off it.
girl, it was bad. So don't let it discourage you. The moral of the story is
Don't let it get you
don't let one person or one networking negative,
outlook. Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
One
It
negative
was good.
situation, don't let it discourage you. Just keep going. Everybody's not the same. There's people that's gonna, reach out and help you. There's people who really do want to help you. So don't let it discourage you.
Yeah, and plus they can't meet your heroes because I'll have to tell a story about mine later day. But I'm in a position now where like I'm an equal to that person now. So it's crazy how that could play out. But
Exactly.
I know we got so many other things we could definitely talk about on this episode. But I think we've hit a good amount. Y'all keep the
No,
conversation
we got two
going.
more things.
Girl, I mean, you want to keep going? Because I was going to let the conversation meet up in the comments. But we can talk about building community and, the connections. Like we just said, it's already a small niche community of women in sports and also like getting into like the nitty gritty Black women in sports. And like we said, we met our heroes and it didn't work out for us. But like when building that community, like what are important things you think are to have in your networking community? Because I think about the friends that I've made through sports so far, like let them down. Love them
Me and
down.
you, like
Me and you, bro.
we built the community, and now
We
look, we have
did.
a podcast. It's important. I think building a community is important. Like they say, like a boys' club, like because it's a boys'
Mm-hmm.
club. Sports is
It
a boys'
is.
club, especially if you're specifically the NFL. So it's good to have those cliques, like those people that you reach out to, like hey, because like when we do Super Bowl, we
Yeah.
have our little community that we go to Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
with. So it's good to have those people that you go to these events with because and that y'all all are in different careers and that y'all all have
Yeah.
like different personalities. So y'all all feed off each other, but you want to make sure you
Mm-hmm.
have good energy. So I love this topic because it ties into everything that we already talked about. From my community, I have you're with the PA. My girl Sheena, she's the reporter for Carolina Panthers. My friend Brittany, who does events for athletes. And then we have another friend that's an agent. And then too, like all these people are bringing different type of credentials.
Yeah.
We all can help each other out in different aspects. So if one person can't get into an event, another person, she has credentials for
Right.
all of us to get into it. So it's good to have that community with different career jobs and
Mm-hmm.
different personalities, but you all have the same energy.
Yeah. Same energy, same goals, same common goals too. Because if you're not aligned on what the goal is, then you don't
That's
want that because
true.
that's
You
another
got
thing.
to
Like
be aligned on the goal, bro.
yeah, because you don't want to be in a group where everybody has a different goal or a different agenda and it starts to mess up everybody else's thing. Because that's one thing too. When there's confusion and there's just no cohesion amongst the
Yeah.
networking group, oh, that's when it starts to go left because you may be there for one purpose and somebody else is there for
Yep.
another, and it can mess up what the other one has
Exactly.
going on just by like, wait, why'd you do that? Versus like, I can't
Yeah.
be in a space where I do that.
Yeah,
So
we
like,
all gotta have the same purpose. Like it's cool to venture off at the end of the night.
right,
But like during the day for our events, like we all need to be on the one accord. We all need to have the
right,
same purpose, and all of our purposes need to be helping, out each other on each purpose. If we do have a different purpose, like it needs
yeah,
to still kind of align and make sure we helping each other out, and nobody's being selfish or anything
yeah.
like that, or gatekeeping credentials, whatever. So
But
yeah,
also
like go ahead.
I say that too though, like even with like let's say we just all like in our little group, like we all went to an event. If it's an event that's specific for one person and we're just there to help support that person at the event, That's our job. Knowing
That's
your
another
goals.
yes. That's
That's
another thing. Like you're not meant to work every event. Like you're
mm-hmm.
not just because like, oh, this is my friend gotta give me a credential to so I can work this event. Sometimes you're just there for support. And
Exactly.
you have to learn that too, and you can't be upset. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just have to be there to support your friends. So you have to. That's another thing in your
Mm-hmm.
community that you make sure that everybody is supportive of everybody's purpose,
Yep.
everybody's goal for this event.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I can't get you a credential for this, but I can get you a ticket into it. And you can
Mm-hmm.
get support me. And then you can turn that into what?
Yeah.
Networking. Cause
Wow.
that's what our homegirl Brittany do. Like I tell
Yeah.
you, like when we get her into stuff that is
Mm-hmm.
not meant for her to work, she just there to support. That girl turned that into a networking opportunity
I
in
say
a
she
hot
found
minute. Like I
she
love that
find a
about her.
way. She do
She
find a
finds a
way.
way every
She
time, and it's
finds a
yes,
way.
love that about
Mm-hmm.
her.
No, she does a great job with that. Like, no, shout out. She does do a really good job with that.
Yeah,
And I say too, like, even if you come to an event with me, I go to an event with you, like, we know, like, hey, sometimes I'm just there as the friend, but like we said, it's going back. I'll still introduce you as like who
that's what I was
you
about to
are
say.
with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So
You're
it's like
still
it's
gonna
not
bring that's something you're great at too. Like you still gonna, oh, this person to be good for Amber to meet. Let me, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
So even if I'm just chilling, because that's me,
mm-hmm,
like that's I said, Brittany very different from me. Like she gonna turn the
yeah,
situation to opportunity and
mm-hmm,
network. Me, I'm solely there to support Aaliyah. I'm
right,
not trying to turn nothing into network and I'm chill. But
mm-hmm,
she's that friend that's gonna bring, oh, this person a 49er fan. Let me introduce him to Amber. Or, oh,
mm-hmm,
this person do the same thing as Amber. Let me introduce her. Maybe she can,
mm-hmm,
do this that. Like, so it's good to have people like that in your community. Like that's how I am with my friends. So like all
yeah,
my friends to be opposite from me. I
mm-hmm,
can't have no Leo. Like everybody can't be no Leo. I'm
yeah.
the only queen bee in this.
But then you got 50 million Sagittarius. It's crazy.
Oh God, because baby, I keep me some Sagittarius.
Oh
So
my god,
I love y'all.
keep us
Y'all let us be
canceled.
us.
Girl. But no, I think that's like even like thinking back, like, just having friends, even friends that's not in the industry too.
Oh yeah, you got
Setting them down and setting that tone. That's once again another episode about what's it like bringing your friends to work industry events when they not in the industry. But you gotta set them down like, look here. No.
or have them doing work for you when they die in the
Right.
industry. Oh baby.
Like,
Oh,
hold
I
on.
can't wait.
You look here. Don't you be going you gotta get in there.
You embarrass me.
Yes. Don't you hold on, let me
Don't
zoom in
tell
for this.
nobody you know me either.
Let me zoom in for this. Don't you in your life get in here and embarrass me. Don't let them people see. Don't look at nobody. Don't talk to nobody. We get a we get a 5 mile radius of this place. I don't want to hear a word. Do you hear me? We're
Girl, because they better not come back. Oh, don't bring that friend no more. They
I
was in
mean,
the athlete space, so they was talking too much. They was trying to get an
girl,
interview and they went reading the wrong. Yeah, like that's
like
how
now I
that
gotta
we didn't
snatch
get into it. That's how the
now I gotta
episode. It's
snatch
funny
you
as
up.
fuck.
Now I gotta snatch you
They
up.
gotta
So I'm trying to
snatch
help
you up.
you.
Like,
I'm trying to help you network. And you don't even know what you're here for. Gotta snatch you up. Talk about some don't you ever in your life. Like it's you we had that conversation. I said once we hit this
she
five
was like,
mile
she
radius.
didn't know, friend. She didn't know.
No, once we hit
I was
this
like,
five, I don't want to. You drop a pass, you'll run
I
a
thought I was
mile.
about
You
to get fired.
gotta catch you loose. And that's why community is important because every friend is not meant to be in the community.
Yeah.
No,
Sometimes you need to be a friend.
sometimes just be a friend. And I tell my we get into another episode, but we'll get into that on another episode. Eric, your friends can't come to everything. Your friends can't come to everything.
It's
Love
just
you down friends that are not in this, but you can't come to everything
yep.
because I know you too well to
Yeah.
know where you can't and can't be.
But that's all we have for networking, y'all. This is one of my favorite episodes. I was waiting to get to it because it's very important to navigate your career. So I hope you guys listen and look out for the description of the different tidbits that we give y'all, how you can network in your community. Stay tuned for the next episode because this is one of our biggest episodes. I know we only gonna be on episode 6,
We're
but
trying. We're with the schedule, guys. Amber's about to start back on
yeah, my mama
school.
asked me, she said, why you didn't do an episode this week? I said, man,
I'm trying.
we've been busy. But we rolling out 2 episodes back to back. So our
Yeah.
next episode is going to be my birthday episode, Big Leo, August
Okay.
19th. We're going to be in Virgin Islands live together again. I know y'all so excited to see us together.
Oh my
We're going to
God.
be talking about dating in the industry. Okay. And this is a topic that so many people are ready for us to talk about because they
Mm-hmm.
think we date in the industry, and we're gonna let y'all know if we do or not. And we and we gonna give y'all some tips on how to do it if you
Or
do
how
it.
not to do it.
And why not to do it? So the do's and don'ts. So make sure you tune in because we're really gonna get personal and
The beach gonna be behind us. We just gonna be
the views. So we're really gonna set the mood for y'all for this episode. Like,
oh
so just
girl.
be ready,
Tune
okay?
in. Tell a
Please.
friend to tell a friend. We're back.
Okay. So make sure you just stay updated on all platforms, Hustle in the
Mm-hmm.
Huddle, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We're on LinkedIn too, but you know what I'm saying.
We're doing
The
better.
website,
We're gonna do
www.hustleinthehuddle.com.
better.
Stay up to date so you can be ready for this next episode. Please.
It's gonna be a good one, y'all.
We'll see y'all then. Come back and huddle up.
Yep.